What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight Daily Podcast. It is Wednesday. It is my favorite day of the week. You know, we got to bring in big boy himself, Mike Ryan. What's going on?
Big boy himself.
I said the big boy.
The big boy himself.
The tallest one here.
Okay.
You got to compete. I'm like a solid 5'9". I'm like Pavia size.
Yeah.
You guys are over 6 foot.
Yeah, I was getting a little self-conscious. I recently lost all the salt and booze weight from the CFP run.
Ooh,
I actually think I lost it all on the day of the CFP final, just in anxiety and stress. So
let's talk about that. Pete, hop in here.
Big boy himself.
The big boy himself.
So I got to ask you about this because I'm going through something similar as far as the weight gain from this playoff. It's been bad, man. And we were on tour out there.
Yeah. This is completely unhealthy. You can't act like you've been there before, though, if you've never been there before. So I hope we all learn the lessons from what this does to one's body. I have crashed, honestly. Like, I am not myself since that. Maybe it would have happened if we had won, and it would have been a delayed reaction. I think that would have been the case, but the crushing defeat in the way that we lost to just I guess fast-tracked all that sadness and all that adrenal fatigue. So I'm building myself back up, and it's good that we have a quarterback and a 1,000-yard receiver to complement our other 1,000-yard receiver and our 1,000-yard back. So little by little, I'm not exactly done moping. I know there's some people on the staff that are done moping. That's great. I know there's some people like you who pretend to be a beacon of positivity, even though you ruined national championship week with a quarterback pursuit and moping around like that. But I am here, and I am honest with you and the audience. It's going to take me a minute. It's going to take me a little bit.
Yes, I know you're working off that weight. You know, I had an encounter I wanted to share here at the not the national championship, the semifinal, right? So this was at the semifinal, the game against Ole Miss, right? So ran into somebody. It was his birthday, the day of the encounter. Okay. So I'm walking down, saying what's up to all the Canes fans. This is again the Ole Miss game. Ole Miss fans were heavy in the aisles, by the way, Mike. The Ole Miss fans were rocking and rolling. They were ready to party.
Yeah, they were.
So I roll in and I see the birthday boy himself, my guy, the king, right there. And he had the chain on. So I walk over to the guy and I'm talking. You know, first I'm like, well, you know, what's going on? What's your name? He says, you know, my name's Elvis. I'm like, all right, this is how it's going to be. Ask him where he's from, Tupelo, Mississippi. You know the deal.
Oh,
so
Tupelo.
We're talking about the outfit. He says it's from the Vegas era. So I told him, look, there's a Canes game. You're wearing the thing. I actually wore the Elvis 1968 comeback special suit, the white double-breasted suit, on a Canes preseason podcast. And Elvis told me that really his dream was to wear the black leather again, the black leather suit from that show, but he had gained too much weight that he couldn't wear it anymore. And I told him, look, I actually wore that same leather suit for Halloween about a year before, but I couldn't wear it. I couldn't wear it anymore. I gained too much weight. I was too fat. So it was very much a moment of just someone understanding you from a whole different part of the world, Tupelo, Mississippi, that you never would see otherwise besides this magical Canes run, and that understands you in a way other people can't, because to put on the black leather suit something, and once you lose it, it's hard. This was Halloween when I wore it a couple of years ago. The stomach
that will drain you adrenally.
Let me say one thing real quick too, by the way, Pete. It seems like a little pouch there in my belly. That's air. What happened was I ordered this suit from India, and it asked me for certain dimensions, and I didn't realize what dimensions were. I've never done suits like that. So it was like too long in the front. So I had to tuck it in when it really should have ended. So there was a little bit of a pocket there. But unfortunately, I can't even wear it anymore. Gained too much weight during this run. Adrenal fatigue, overwhelming. And, we got to get back. We got to get back to playing weight and get ready for the season. Go 1-0.
That was head spinning. Thank you, D Money, for sharing. Pete, how we doing on Champions League? I'm sorry about this timing, boss. I have lost my passion for the beautiful game. It's been a rough couple of months.
No, it's fine. It's just Newcastle has. I mean, the thing is, they're in Paris right now. They're playing PSG. Winner gets top 8. loser advances, but a draw doesn't do anything. Down 1-0 already, so I knew it was gonna be a tough one. So that's why I was kind of like not really sweating it too much. But 18 games at once, Mike, it's it's a doozy.
Yeah, I don't have the adrenal energy for it. Pete, at the risk of setting him off again, tell me that D-Money got all the Belichick takes off his chest this morning or something.
Well, I mean, 220 Grant. Go ahead, Pete.
He didn't. No, we actually didn't. I gotta say, I saw the tweet and I saw some people coming at the account, which I saw someone say that something like this is not like this is below CanesInsight's
CanesInsight.
Yeah. I agree. Actually, was that coming from me?
He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything on the show this morning. I've heard a lot of the takes over the years. I really do think there is some validity to it, but like to say he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer to me is pretty wild. But we understand there's a lot more to it than his resume.
Good D-Money. I'll tee you up, but please keep it to a clean 20 seconds because he is a North Carolina head coach, and we are playing North Carolina this year.
He did go at Belichick yesterday when we had Amon Richards on the show. So that's what he did do before we actually knew that was actually before we knew the Hall of Fame verdict in the morning. So that's how you know the hate is real.
Nice and tight, D. Go for it.
Listen, I don't have to say I don't have to opine. The facts are he's a worse coach than Dave Wanstad, college and pro, without Brady statistically. And he's not, in fact, a first ballot Hall of Famer. No longer an opinion of mine, a fringe opinion of mine. That's the case. But 220 Greenwich said that Belichick was at his kid's school today recruiting a defensive end after the Hall of Fame snub. I don't think he's recruiting a defensive end. I think Jordan Hudson might be getting a little long in the tooth for old Bill. So keep your head on a swivel there at school.
Okay. All right. It does feel gratuitous and cheap. I don't know what it is. I don't even know you to be like this passionate Dolphins fan. I don't know why you have so much hate for the guy.
It's not a Dolphins. Man. I don't think it's a Dolphins thing. It's just a take that he's had for a while that he had. I'll say he's had this take like since I've known D for now. D, I've known you for almost 15 years now, and he's had the take since an early point of my friendship with him, and I think it's become more and more true over the years, which is why now he can, which is, I guess, what happens. Time reveals all, right?
It's just always been couched with like this weird pro Shula undercurrent too. So am I misreading that, D?
Mike, I'll tell you what though. I can't
weird
wait
about a pro Shula undercurrent. What's weird about a pro Shula undercurrent?
Dude,
I mean, that's an
Mike,
overcurrent.
I'll tell you this much. I cannot wait to take the winningest highway in America to soccer later this evening. The Don Shula Expressway. What an expressway, my friend. Winningest highway in America.
Let's talk about all what is on the front of every Miami fan's mind right now. I'm sure CanesInSight has already been covering the addition of Cooper Barkate and Darian Mensah. But let me get some shots up here because I didn't get to do too much of it on the Levitard show. 2,000-yard receivers on this offense now. Not just the ACC's leading passer, but the second leading passer in the nation, behind just Drew Messamaker in a kind of a cartoon offense in a weaker conference. 1,000-yard back in Mark Fletcher. Tough back. We all saw what he's made of, from leadership to actual talent. Also, probably the best pass blocking back in the nation, which would alleviate some of the talent that you're losing along that offensive line. I think Lofton gets another year under his belt. Luka Gilbert, who I saw make dazzling plays at Greentree over fall camp, that has me incredibly excited. We'll see what Gavin Mueller can do as a freshman, but if the players are talented at that position, they end up playing early under Mario Cristobal. We've all seen that. So along that offense, and we'll have a separate conversation about the defense. In terms of returning weapons, this is as good as Miami's had it headed into a spring since when, D-Money?
You want to go there? I would say returning weapons, so including like the tight end, the running back, I would say you go to like 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Receiver only. I might go back further. Receiver only. Andre Johnson's better than all these. We'll see how Malachi's career turns out. But Andre Johnson, Hall of Fame, obviously that's a hard one to beat.
Yeah.
But
I do think Malachi will end up. This is a bit of a rhetorical trick because he had over 1,000 yards as a freshman. But Malachi Toney, we anticipate being more prolific than Andre Johnson at receiver.
Yeah, and then you got Cooper Barkade as another 1,000-yard receiver. So I don't think you've had two guys with that kind of production at receiver.
I love
prolificness.
Yeah, he's pretty prolific. Hey, what'd you guys make of that the video? I think we've all seen it from Miles at Prime 112. Shout out Miles and shout out Prime 112. Been a great restaurant to Miami Hurricanes, past, present, and apparently future. Mally looked beefy, dude. Mally looked like he's put on like 10 pounds. Now, that could have just been the meal that he had at Prime 112. That could have, but the biceps. Now, there's been some online discourse. Do we want Malachi Toney to gain weight?
Have you seen his dad? His dad's beefed up. I mean, his dad played receiver in the league. His dad's beefed up. So I mean, listen, he was like one before the season started, he was 185, 188. Getting close to 190. Obviously, you want him. And I think literally Amon had this discussion with us the other day. He like stopped the show. He's like, whoever's in Malachi's Tony's camp, whoever's listening, do not put too much weight on him because because we want him to stay quick and lean and all that. But no, I think he's capable. I think he's sturdy. I mean, he's short, but he's sturdy. You see him breaking tackles and bouncing off.
He didn't look small.
Arm tackles.
He didn't look small in that photo. And I look, Amon knows what it's like to play at that position. He knows what it's supposed to look like, and he knows what the extra weight does to a body. My uninformed opinion is I think what Malachi Toney brings to the table that is his biggest game-breaking asset, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts here, is his quickness and field vision. And I don't really see those two things being affected too much by him putting on, say, 15 pounds. He's not, his vision is so good.
That's for his frame. That's a lot of weight. I don't know.
I understand, but his vision is so good that it makes him look a lot faster than he actually is. And I do believe him to be the type of player that can get faster. I look at Malachi Toney, and the thing that worries me the most about him is not him losing a little bit of speed, is him getting worn out. Because he plays a style that is all in. He's all about every inch on that football field, and his body's going to take some punishment there. And I want the frame to kind of reflect that. We saw him have a mild case of the fumbles in the college football playoff, and I do think him adding some weight would be a benefit. And I'm not too worried about him losing the quickness. D Money, what say you?
He got a lot heavier and stronger from high school to his first season. So like the underrated thing I thought about Malachi, basically from when he graduated American Heritage or left early, did the reclass thing and then enrolled in Miami, and then the season starting, is he really hit it hard in the weight room. And he posted a pic before the season where he looked like he'd gained a lot of weight. And the same way he approaches playing receiver, route running, catching the ball, everything else, I mean, he was very, very committed, very purposeful in the weight room. So you see that to me on the play against Ole Miss where he breaks like 3 tackles and gets the first down. The other play where he keeps his balance and scores. A couple other plays where he really did a nice job keeping his balance. The championship game, right? Of course, the blocking that he did. So he's a functionally very strong player. I don't think he needs to get that much heavier or stronger. I just think and I don't know how much weight he's gained since like the season. I think he gained a lot of that weight before the year, and he used it effectively on the field because he was just as quick as anybody, but his power, I think, and his strength and balance was a surprise to people, leg power in particular.
Yeah, I want to see him get a little bit more powerful. Like, look, no one was like, man, and this is certainly not a body type comp, but in terms of like how their teams use him, like Deebo Samuel took a lot of punishment. Because they use him in the backfield, the reverses, the end arounds, the jet sweeps. Mally's, I imagine next season's going to have even more of that in the playbook. So I kind of worry about his body wearing down, and I do think that I'm not aligned with Amon here. I'm not worried about him getting slower. Like Debo has the speed and the quickness. There is certain instinctual things that Malachi Tony has that is always going to give him a half step on people. So I'm of the school of thought that I'd like for him to bulk up just a little bit, just because of I know what's coming. That was a grind. That was my main takeaway. Like, as everybody told us, see you next year, D-Money. It was like, man, this was really hard. Winning.
Well, here's the funny thing, Mike. To your point, and as Slabrock says, he says he might get taller.
He could.
He just turned 18, right? So,
Yeah.
like, who's to say he doesn't? Yeah. He doesn't. I don't think he's going to grow 3 inches or anything like that. But I think he will continue to, as his body matures, naturally put on good weight and carry it a certain type of way. And look, I want him staying nimble and agile on top of everything that we're talking about here. I'm not too worried about what it's going to look like. I think to your point, there's not really a need for him to be taking too many hits in the spring and even in fall camp. Like, you know what he is. Yeah, you could put the non-contact jersey on him.
I don't think 10 pounds, 10, 15 pounds is the end of the world. I think the young man was touched by God when it comes to football talent, and he's just got it with the ball in his hands. And I think he's naturally going to look faster. You could put 25 pounds on that young man, and I think that he's just going to have pull away speed because he knows where to go with the ball. He's just a special talent that way, Deke. I guess it might be a minority opinion, but I think there are some good comps like in the comments section. Debo, Percy Harvin was a guy that got a little thicker. I do think that what we're asking of Malachi Tony requires his body be ready for that additional punishment. So I don't mind it one bit.
Chris Fitness says 10 pounds wouldn't hurt. Malachi should bulk up a little bit. But this guy's jacked. He's biased in this.
I was going to say all the the guys who are hitting it hard are always going to say 10 pounds wouldn't hurt anyone.
Yeah, I think a nice bean burger, like something like that. Just some more plants to lean, get that speed up, get that route.
There's nothing wrong with plants. I have no issue with plants, but you got to eat some meat too.
So you're saying since 2002 we haven't had this much talent, at least on the offensive side of the ball.
Someone just threw a good comment here. Yeah, I brought it up for a second. 220 Green, which said 2013 spring, Duke Johnson, Hearns, Dorsett, Coley, Walford. And I always look at it like, what's the NFL upside here? Wow, great goal, Newcastle. Duke Johnson, NFL, and got paid. Hearns, we know what his story was. Stacy Coley, I think there was other factors that led him to not being a great pro, but what a talent. And then Walford, draft pick as well.
Yeah, 2013 is probably the last great returning class on offense. I don't know if it had this kind of juice. They were all really good players, but like Malachi Tony was the best freshman in the sport. Cooper Barcade is a proven ACC champion 1,000-yard receiver. Darian Mensah is the nation's second leading passer. Look at that touchdown to interception ratio. Like, we did all the L Big list during the last few months, and Darian Mensah's name never popped on the list because you want to talk about like pie in the sky. If someone whispered Darian Mensah's name as a possibility, he would have shot up to the very tippy top of all of our lists. This is improbable. It's amazing. It's a testament to Mario Cristobal and the coaches for pushing through and turning over every rock and not taking no for an answer. I'm sure there were people nervous about this pursuit, and a lot of coaches don't have the gumption and intestinal fortitude to do this, especially to someone in conference. And Mario Cristobal did. And now we're talking about this team in terms of most talent coming back since 2013, 2002. And those are some pretty lofty, talented teams.
They didn't have an adrenal drain after the championship run. What was it called? What was it called? Adrenal what?
Adrenal fatigue.
Yeah. They didn't have adrenal fatigue. They went right from the championship game to the court, landing the top quarterback available. So he wasn't even on the list. He was on none of the list.
No. I never thought it was a possibility. He had a multi-year agreement with Duke. Like, I don't know. Until Darian Mensah was hit with a temporary restraining order, I did not think that was possible. He was the first of his kind, the first multi-year NIL agreement. So naturally, we've never seen anybody break one of those.
Yeah, but here's the other part of it. And it's funny because I had an NFL scout who texted me this morning who was like, man, Miami just messed the system up. And I had to have a conversation. I had to call him up this afternoon and talk some sense into him. And very quickly he was like, no, you're right. Because D, you know this. There are guys who sign multi-year contracts and it's not talked about. But the next year, if they're hurt or if they didn't play year one, what do the coach? And I'm not saying this is like a Miami thing. This is something that happens across college football. 100%. What do the coaches say? Oh well, and not just the coaches, the people who are involved in making these things happen. Hey, look, you're not really going to play next. You're fourth on the depth chart. You know, your deal's not going to be what it was this year. You got hurt last year, and they'll do the same exact thing. So that's why I don't want to hear he signed a 2-year deal, because unless the schools are going to really own up to a lot of that stuff that we know is happening behind the scenes, I don't want to hear it.
Excellent point. We'll kick it to D in a second. I'm glad you mentioned that. Look, Miami, back in the Life Wallet days, had some multi-year agreements. Some of them were to players that ended up getting hurt, and Miami had to figure some stuff out. Some of those are guys that are still on the roster and have developed to players that have made an impact there. I think the distinction that I'm making is this was the first of the rev share era.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a quarterback, a marquee position for a conference champion. I actually
technically the second. We had one last year.
Yeah, and D, kicking it over to you, I actually was hoping that Darian Mensah would end up being an agent of change. I actually think it speaks to the levels that we probably don't even know of this cartel of the NCAAs, because if they're willing to not draw a line in the sand when it comes to a defending conference champion going to another school, the money must be so good, because they don't want these guys being considered employees whatsoever. I thought this would be the tipping point. Clearly, it's not.
Yeah, they didn't want to win. They wanted to settle, which is what we talked about on the show. But you talk about multi-year contracts, Pete. You know who else signed a multi-year contract, a 5-year contract? Look at this guy. Welcome to Philly. Temple's new head football coach, Manny Diaz, signs a 5-year contract and bails within a week.
18 days or something, officially.
I mean, give me a break. So, I couldn't care less about Duke and their problems and these contracts. There's no system right now. There could be a system. There was a system, maybe more like the NFL, and you couldn't do this these kind of things. But there is no system, which is why the players don't get benefits, which is why the players don't have a pension, which is why the players don't get all the stuff that the NFL players get. So if you don't want to give them that stuff, then don't cry when they have these other advantages that are all legal, because every time this gets tested by an objective legal tribunal, the NCAA side loses. Like every time.
They're 0 for 2,000.
Mike Norvell has a better record than the NCAA over the last couple of years. They do not win. So, and that's objective legal tribunal. So the system that they're talking about does not exist because the people getting screwed right now don't want it to exist. The schools who are making all this money without having to pay the cost of having employees, and the coaches who are making tons of money that probably should be going to the players. What's the only sport where what's Mensah making? $4 million? How much at Duke? What was Manny making at Duke? Because I can tell you that Patrick Mahomes gets paid a lot more than Andy Reid, probably like 3 times as much as what Andy Reid makes. So
Andy Reid's making more money than you think, by the way. Yeah, I've told you how much these head coaches are making.
What is touching 20?
He might be 20, which is crazy that the NFL coaches make that much.
You're right. What does Patrick Mahomes make?
No,
50?
I'm also making the point some of these NFL head coaches are making a lot of money.
50 is more than twice 20. And I don't think he makes 20. I think he probably makes like 15 or 16 or 17. So Mahomes is making way more than Reid, whereas Manny and Mensah are like this. Mm-hmm. Mario makes more than his quarterback. So, and he's not the only one. Most coaches do. So I think probably all coaches do, quite frankly, in college football.
But did we get Mario a country club membership?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's the sister a soccer scholarship, whatever it was. So
I gotta say, D, you got some close sources at the local country club, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen,
Never.
but I That's not. That's it's a very tough place to pull some strings right now.
Can I shoot that one down?
Waiting list.
Can I shoot that one down?
There's a big
Happens
waiting list at Riviera down the street, my friend.
The Golden Cane, please shoot it down.
Happens to know as those stories came rolling in, I was with somebody that would know, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" I don't know why the internet just runs with, rumor and innuendo the second that it hits. Like, how would anybody know?
Very
Guy hits
limited
the portal,
options
and we
now.
got stories of $10 million NIL deals for sisters that we're just learning about, and country clubs that are impossible to get in.
I knew it was fake when I saw the country club part of it. I just they don't understand what the situation is in Miami right now. There's limited.
And the thing is, it's become the truth. Everybody is just regurgitating the $10 million country club thing without even understanding where patient zero was. It's a very strange thing. I can tell you, untrue.
But by the way, this guy's 20 years old. What does he want to do in the country club? This guy wants to be on a boat or practicing football. This guy wants to be in the country club with a bunch of old dudes. Like, this guy's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Giovanni asked, "D, are you related to Cooper Barcate?" Yeah, it's a relative.
Dude, if Beck wasn't
in Spain that descends.
If Beck wasn't requesting a country club membership because he's a golf guy and I've seen him play in some top-notch courses, then I don't know that anyone is. More power to the first one who does, though.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Barcade might have a membership of Riviera dating back a couple generations. Who knows? but I don't think
I know he does.
I know Peter was all in. Once he saw Cooper Barcade's outfit yesterday, I knew Peter was all in on Coop.
Dude, I mean, I've been all in since I've been watching the guy since we saw he entered the portal, man.
He was shimmying at midnight. That was probably the best video we've ever done.
Shimmying at midnight, man. This chair almost broke.
I was speaking to a national college football voice who is familiar with the Duke Blue Devils, and I think they were trying to encourage me by saying, like, I got a good guy saying, like, reminds me a lot of Dante Moore, perhaps a poor man's Dante Moore. And I didn't even respond to it because I was so insulted. I'd watched both these players play. And I think Darian Mensah is better than Dante Moore. Now, Dante Moore would have been allegedly a top 10 pick. And for whatever reason, that draft conversation wasn't really around Mensah, even though he has good tape. D, what is it there? Is it his size? What?
I don't think he's the most physical guy in terms of, like, he's not that physically strong. I don't think his arm has as much juice. People say Beck's arm had lost juice because of the surgery. I actually think that Beck has more arm than Mensah in terms of just juice.
I don't think so.
Again,
we got to have.
I think his grade is not where it is.
Yeah. It wasn't what it was.
A flexible passer and doing all different kinds of passes, throwing with anticipation, just adjusting his arm, making throws. I mean, this guy was a second leading passer in college. I think that he has more of that than Beck. But if we're talking about just pure, like, hey, this is a dig, you got to drive it through, or this is a skinny post and you really got to drive it, I think probably Ward for sure the most. And I would say Beck 2, this guy 3, Mensah. But I think Mensah's passing ability, just like his pure passing ability altogether, is elite. But that would, I think, again, maybe I'm wrong, that and his lack of tremendous size or athleticism is why he's more of a day 3 pick now, as opposed to what a guy that would go pro after having 2 really good years.
Yeah, Carson's an interesting case study because, like, we were at those practices, especially during fall camp, and Carson was ripping those balls, and it wasn't really like something that we saw all that often during the season. He was relying a little bit more on touch. So I don't know if that's just because the wear and tear off of on a surgically repaired arm made him change his game a little bit. I don't know what it was, but I didn't see him drive the ball with the same kind of force that I saw him in fall camp. I'm curious to see what Mensah's arm looks like, because in watching some of these throws, you may be right. Like, all right, we're throwing 40 yards downfield. Who can get it there harder? Maybe Beck, given what I saw. But I do think Mensah has a more talented arm.
Yeah,
he is. And he's certainly, one thing I think is irrefutable is that Carson Beck kind of changed himself after the Louisville game. I think Mensah is more willing to trust his arm and take certain chances that Carson Beck didn't towards the latter part of the season.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's as natural a passer. I mean, honestly, he's comparable to Ward in terms of just being a natural passer. I think Ward just has more physicality, like, again, just bigger and stronger. But I think in terms of just like the ability to change pace on the ball, to let it rip and not be afraid and kind of trust what he's doing.
I'll say he kind of reminds me a bit, and I think this guy had a little bit more juice with his legs, but Chambliss, just having played against him, the way that he operates it, and similar size. Mensah's probably a little bit bigger than Chambliss, right? I know Mensah's listed as 6'3". I don't know that he's actually 6'3", but I mean, I'm not saying they're the same exact player, but I'm talking about watching college football. That's the closest thing I saw to it last year. I mean,
you watch the tape and you're not saying like this guy's got a weak arm. That's not at all what you're saying. I think Trinidad's arm is a little bit more live.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I just said that too. I think Trinidad has more juice.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys mentioned Brooks Austin's detailed breakdown. Like I was talking to Brooks when he was before the Mensah thing became a thing, and he was breaking down like Clemson.
But you were tampering?
No. He was breaking down like some Clemson guys in the portal. And maybe this was at the seeds of the whispers of Mensah. And he was like, this guy is actually like bridging the gap.
Murmurs of Mensah.
He said that he's basically a blend of Carson Beck and Cam Ward, which I think makes sense. You have them on opposite sides of the spectrum. I think that Mensah's a smart player.
Yeah.
I think what he does pre-snap in terms of being able to manipulate coverages with his eyes and take advantage of the numbers game. I think he is a really smart quarterback, and he's like Carson Beck a lot there, but he also has some instincts, the way that no one's going to have the instincts that Cam Ward has, who's just as incredible and instinctual player, sometimes for worse. But Cam just had such a natural feel for the game. But one thing that I do see that is a little closer to Cam is his ability to extend plays with the intention to throw, and his ability to have his body pull that off. And then when he's under duress, still be able to go for, let me go for a kill shot here. Let me go for a throw that only I can make, because I have that belief in myself. And I think Miami could have done with a little bit more of that, even though they had their college football playoff identity kind of solidified, and Carson Beck did what he had to do to win those games. But I'm excited to, get some chutzpah back under center and have guys that stretch a field, because even though Marion was a deep threat later on, he wasn't a complete receiver. Cooper Barkate is that. You're going to have some deep threats with the transfer class that we have coming in, and guys like Josh Moore and Paris that could probably make an impact freshman year. And then you got Malachi doing his thing, which is just night crawlering all over the field. So I couldn't be more pumped about this offense. Now, there is a little bit of concern for me, is like who's going to be calling the plays, because there was some news in the NFL today. Todd Monken was hired as head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Now, last week I kind of felt pretty good about making sure that our OC was going to be staying put. Now, one thing that I can tell you is Shannon Dawson is not looking for another job, but I cannot promise you Todd Monken's not going to be calling Shannon Dawson. I cannot promise that, and I can't promise that he won't listen, but I do know that Shannon Dawson is very happy in Miami. He and Mario got together at the end of the season. I think they understand what they've achieved down here. And I think for whatever Shannon wants, he's going to be well positioned next season as people look at Miami a different way. This is not fool's gold with Miami. The talk around Miami will be legitimate. There was always a skepticism about Miami and its offense. Are you a Cam Ward merchant? All that stuff. I think Shannon Dawson, his name will be regularly talked about as one of the game's greatest offensive coordinators next season. And for him to be able to do it with a third quarterback, I think even he realizes what an incredible opportunity he has down here to win a national championship as well. But I would not count out some of these staffs that are coming together in the NFL, checking the tires depending on what they want to do at the quarterback position. And I would also keep an eye at Carson Beck in Cleveland too. Todd Monken big Carson Beck fan, as we know, the legend goes that Miami called Todd Monken and he had
They don't need a QB, man.
Will you be back? Are you back? Are you back with the Browns if that happens?
I reserve the right to reevaluate.
They don't need a QB, Mike.
they got a Pro Bowl quarterback. Imagine, for all that talk,
baby.
For all that talk about what a dumpster fire Cleveland is, and what a bad quarterback situation they had Tyler Huntley, they had Joe Flacco, and they had Shedeur Sanders. Those are 3 Pro Bowl quarterbacks that they had in Berea, Ohio, before the season.
Deep room. Somebody's saying that you look like an inbred. It's actually Ghost and Val Donaldson, an inbred Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck known for his handsomeness, so he had to throw the inbred to kind of knock you down a couple pegs.
Yeah,
but I think ultimately you come out good in that comparison.
I'll take Tom Selleck. Inbred, that's just we'll chalk that one up to banter. But I ultimately, if I had to do a crystal ball, I think Shannon Dawson stays, and I hope he does. But his name might, depending on what these organizations want to do at the quarterback position, how they want to develop these guys, I can't rule out them giving him a call. Can you?
He's people look at his track record. We talked about it this morning because people were attacking Shannon in the chat. And look, no one's perfect. They all make mistakes. Obviously, it's coaching. You win some, you lose some. You have your good days, your bad days. But to have an elite offense in Houston, like prolific, then you go to Miami, which had been the worst offense in the country with Gaddis. You immediately jump to 30 points a game, top 30 offense with a quarterback that is colorblind, throwing it to the wrong team. And then the next year, you have the best offense in the country by far. And then the subsequent year, you win a championship or get to a championship. You win 13 games. So I don't know. Seems pretty good to me as far as a 4-year track record for Shannon Dawson with different players, different quarterbacks, different situations, and making it work.
Yeah. And I do think Shannon, despite maybe some of the talk that he's had at press conferences, showed a willingness to adapt and break tendencies and maybe step away from things that probably had gotten a little predictable. And he showed you some pretty impressive versatility, I thought. And he maximized the offense, I think, especially when you consider what Miami's identity became in the college football playoff. And look, a DB made an incredible play. You need a pitch perfect throw to slide in between 2 DBs. I have no idea to this day why that corner who guessed right didn't follow Malley underneath, but he didn't. And he made a national championship saving play, but you were that close from being a national champion with Shannon Dawson. Not even a debate anymore who would be the greatest OC in Miami history if he got that natty. We had that debate. We got that natty. I'm pretty sure you'd be singing everybody's praises.
We've got hopefully one more season to go, at least, to secure that title. We got some super chats I want to get to. Appreciate you, Don McLean. Disturbing.
I think it's Don C. M. Leon. Remember?
Right. Don C. M. Leon.
A very disturbing image.
But a great contributor. So we'll allow it. Appreciate you.
That's what I looked like after we lost to FSU in basketball last week.
Mo Hussein says NCAA doesn't want to pay benefit to all athletes. Stephen Gomez says Title IX, why they're not employees. I mean, bottom line, these are all true. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They didn't want to do the first part until the courts told them they had to. Now they're doing the NIL. They didn't want to do that. They did it because they got sued and they were facing billions in damages. So they don't want to do anything. It's about how much are they going to get forced to do. What they want to do is have coaches make a ton of money, administrators make a ton of money, build a bunch of new facilities, and chill. They don't want to deal with this, but it's being forced upon them by the players.
They don't want to redistribute the wealth.
And you know what? It's not even they're the ones earning it. They're the ones with the value. Like, these administrators are dime a dozen. None of these guys are anything. You think these guys are like visionaries? These guys are to run the Orange Bowl is take vision. The Orange Bowl hasn't done anything new in 70 years. What has the Orange Bowl added to its approach in 70 years? Or the Rose Bowl, your hat.
Yeah. Look, the $20 million rev share number, which is supposed to go down the revenue sports. It's not. There's a common misconception that it's just for football. It's not. They're supposed to take that chunk of money and put it through. I think what the 4 majors. This sport is still growing, and it's the second biggest sport in America right now. College football. We saw the boom in women's college basketball, spearheaded by Caitlin Clark. I imagine college men's hoops. There is so much more meat on that bone. Even college baseball has more revenue to make. All they've had to do is take away $21 million from a pot that has probably grown exponentially since the time they decided to make that deal. They want to keep this gravy train going, and they are willing to let guys break perceived contracts for conference champions to go to conference rivals rather than admit this is not pay for play. These are not employees. They want to keep this thing going as long as they can. And that's just going to be, I thought for sure Mensa was going to be some kind of tipping point. 24 hours later, it feels like that was a hyperbolic take. No, they're just going to keep this thing rolling.
So I asked AI, so this is somewhat inaccurate, from 2022. So actually 2021 numbers published in 2022. So these may have changed. The CEO of the Allstate Sugar Bowl, Jeff Hundley, makes $869,000 to be the head of the Sugar Bowl. One game a year where we all know who plays. It's not like he's like
they have conference.
I can pick the teams for the Sugar Bowl.
Back in the day, they had to work for it, and by work for it, I mean take all expense paid trips to be wined and dined by administrations and like, hey, you boys look good. Maybe we'll get you.
What do they do around here? Like, I'm a big Goodell guy. I love Goodell. Goodell, the NFL is in Europe. The NFL, the combine is like Woodstock. I can see things that he's doing that have improved the sport, that has made more money for everybody. What have any of these bowl guys done in 100 years to improve anything? I can't think of, Mike, I cannot think of a single thing that they've done. What's happened?
Sacrificing a breakfast pastry and lowering it into
those guys deserve some money. But you see, they're outsiders. They're outsiders. The Pop-Tart Bowl is the future. Those guys had to do something different, and they actually created some value. Great point, Mike. Thank you. Thank you for coming on board. Those guys deserve the money.
I hate that thing, but you're right. It's all a racket, and there is nothing more telling than Darian Mensah breaking his contract with Duke. Than them not.
That's the word break is such a strong word to use, Mike. I wouldn't
settle.
There's nothing got broken. It was let's just.
Yeah. He's a young man that decided to change where he went to school. Yeah. I think that's perfectly
Do you remember
legal.
Do you remember when you were 20 years old, Mike?
Barely. I didn't know.
No, let's cut the kids some grace, man. Unbelievable. These narratives out there about people being money hungry and stuff. Let's just stop it.
D-Money does have like the trump card when it comes to Manny Diaz and Temple. That was pretty good.
You like that? So Joel, student athlete, should have been. Look at this guy, man. This guy was playing in Madison Square Garden for the Canes and hoops, and didn't have money. He had to have a fling with a training table lunch manager to score serious weekend food. $35 in meal money on Friday went straight to beers at the Rat. Score for our guy Joel. So he had to be resourceful. He had to be resourceful to make it happen. Well, I'm sure the person who put together that invitational in Madison Square Garden was making bread for hosting the tournament.
Speaking of the basketball team, Mike, we got Trenton here saying, Pete getting ready for tonight in Red Panda, which I'm not sure about the significance of this Red Panda individual, but Trenton, man, you're praying we don't see the zone tonight, huh?
So 9 p.m. tip. That's a little rough. D, are you taking my tickets?
Yes, I'll take one. Can I have one? You still have it available?
You're just gonna take one? I got 3.
My family is 9. Like, they're not gonna go.
You see, 9 o'clock is tough, dude. I don't like this one bit. It's not even. Look, usually you make those kind of concessions for SEC ACC challenge. We get that, but just because Stanford's in town, we're making this 9 p.m. That means I got to be in my seat at 10:45 p.m. or thereabouts, 10:30 p.m. if I want to see the illustrious Red Panda. Now, Pete, it does not surprise me that you do not know the legend of Red Panda. That falls square under pop culture knowledge.
They've been here before, I believe.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Once
So
before.
I remember like when they came, but like I remember also being like, are these people actually like a big deal? I didn't understand
not assuming pronouns and just going by they. That's very progressive of you. I appreciate that. Red Panda is a lady.
Oh.
like
Not a panda?
It's not a panda. Like the lady
The
doing
red
most of
panda.
the stuff anyways.
I'm not hating. 26 CIS says don't be a hater. I'm not hating. I'm being I would like to be educated is what I'm saying. Maybe ignorant would be the word.
Speaking of ignorant, I want to. This is a great comment here. Really good contributor here. She's been dropping some gems. Lawyer W6Z says someone said Miami illegally poached Mensa. Now that's what I would call a strong choice of words. It's like a safari. Like this kid doesn't have a brain of his own and can't see that. Hey, I'm in Duke. I just won the ACC championship. It didn't even make the playoffs. I'm carrying this team. I have 3,900 yards. Everybody around me sucks. My coach is supposed to be a defensive coordinator.
Except Cooper Barkate.
Not everybody. And the running back was good too.
Solid. The defense sucks. The coach is supposed to be a defensive coordinator. He's out here wearing a sombrero. Can't even speak Spanish. His name's Diaz. And meanwhile, Cam Ward shaking Goodell's hand. Carson Beck's in the championship. You don't think the kid himself has some control over his own situation and brain to say, this situation is better than my own situation. Agents, lawyers get me to there because I want to be there. What are we talking about? Illegally poached. What in the world?
It's common sense. Miami was a great spot. And if you're a quarterback that was in demand or a quarterback of the skill set of Darian Mensah, you're watching that Miami Hurricanes football team do what it did down that run. You realize that Carson Beck is leaving school, and you see that as an incredible opportunity because we rattled off the offenses that Shannon Dawson has. Like, dude, Shannon Dawson had a good offense with Tyler Van Dyke. He had a good offense with Tyler Van Dyke. I don't like Darian Mensah is probably licking his chops over here. And that's the business, Duke. You know, it is. Enjoy the boozers. It's a talent acquisition game. Sometimes you win it, sometimes you lose it. Retention is a skill.
We're 2-2 this year. We're 2-2 this year. You got the Twins. We got Barkade and Mensa.
You don't think that Miami's had to fight for every single player that's on their roster? Like, what are we actually doing here? Like, Big Bad Miami is the villain because they were actually successful in entertaining some prospects that decided Miami was a place for them and convincing them. Do you realize what this business is? This business is agents leveraging you from the second you get into fall camp. From the second you get into fall camp, you are fighting, not just to keep your stars, but to keep disgruntled freshmen that haven't gotten reps even though they've been here for 18 minutes. It is a day in, day out grind, checking in with family, encouraging people, developing talent, and then having to retain them. It's hard work. Trust me, I wish the sport were collectively bargained so we can have identified rules clearly, because I think that Miami would be kick-ass at that too. But if this is the rules that you're going to play by, I am glad I got a collective and a head coach like Mario Cristobal that are here to navigate that because they seem to be built for this, unlike Manny Diaz.
Do people really think that if Manny got a call from Penn State saying, hey, we like what you did at Duke here, why don't you come over to Penn State, break your contract, and try to win a championship with us? He would say yes in a heartbeat. And when he got on the microphone stand, he'd be like, man, I love Duke. They treated me great, but I just think I have a better chance to win a national championship here. I mean, would he say anything different than that?
No.
So how's that different than what Mensa's doing in any way?
When Penn State was scrambling, I don't know if they actually put in the call, but Manny Diaz was certainly one of the candidates that were talked about there. When I reached out to sources, they were interested in talking to Manny Diaz. Now, they may have went with their number one option, Matt Campbell, and gotten immediate traction. I don't know for a fact if Manny Diaz picked up the phone, but I do think he would have listened. You know, we don't cast this judgment on head coaches. You use Manny Diaz being at Temple for a couple of days as a banger of an example. This is the world that we play by. This is the world that we live in, and these are the rules that we play by. And until you collectively bargain the sport, you're going to have people having sour grapes. Now, the timing wasn't great, I guess, because it felt like it was at the 11th hour of some sort of caper. But I also think that that was a byproduct of Miami not wanting to interfere with their college football playoff run. This is the window that we've been given. So it probably makes it look a lot more sinister than it was, because if it happened at the start of the portal, it certainly wouldn't have made the news. There was a sort of sense of shocking. There was a shocking aspect to it that made people clutch their pearls more than if it were in the news stream for a couple of days, I guess, D.
It's Miami, and we're big business right now. So we're going to get the first takes. We're going to get the pardon the interruptions. We're going to get all that stuff, because we are now, I won't say we're back, because back means parade, but we're certainly looked at in that top tier for better or worse. And I think, look, I like being talked about when you have the quarterback. If I'm Duke, I don't want to be talking about this. Duke doesn't want to hear about this. It's embarrassing, quite frankly. It shows how small time they are. I'd be embarrassed.
I'm not
my
going to
money to get out.
No, I'm not going to take that. Look, it's hard to keep an ensemble cast together. You grow, it's hard to retain people. Manny Diaz, ACC champion. Manny Diaz got Darian Mensah. Manny Diaz proved that he was a pretty good hire for Duke. I would look at Darian Mensah, realizing that his skill set is in demand and worthy of the Miami Hurricanes, and Cooper Barkay doing the same thing, as, this is actually good news for us. It stinks that they're leaving. I wish we were a little bit better at retention. If we were better at retention, we wouldn't be having to deal with this suffering, but I would be encouraged. You got to work in. Look, these guys are in Miami now. Miami was a national runner-up. We're doing great. I'm not going to take shots at Manny Diaz. I think he's already, look, we're living in a meme world. Manny Diaz won an ACC championship before Miami, before Mario Cristobal even played in one. That is impressive. So I'm not here to kick them while they're down at all, one bit. It's working. It's just going to be a tough blow. It's going to be really hard for them next season.
You made a great point, Mike, and I just want to say what you described, which is Duke being happy, Duke fans being happy for Mensah having given them so much entertainment and then moving on to the next level. That's the kind of class you saw at the ECW Arena in Philly, the bingo hall, when Eddie Guerrero battled Rey Mysterio, their last match. You knew they were moving on to WCW. The crowd was standing up and cheering and showing class and respect in a way that Duke could not. And these are people, this is an organization, Extreme Championship Wrestling, that basically had strippers walking around the stage at all times. There was a vaguely Polynesian character named Kamana Wanalea. It was not what you would call a classy affair, but yet they had more class for their wrestlers going to a bigger promotion and appreciation than what Duke had for these players, a supposed institution of higher learning and a pillar of academics.
Money, I'm so glad you brought it to wrestling, because life is pro wrestling. They should have given them Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, ECW energy. Instead, they gave them Bill Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 20 energy. And you're Duke. You're closer to ECW than you are to WrestleMania 20 and the Mecca. What are we doing?
Yeah, that was a bad match. Holy moly.
No, but that was electric. That was a great atmosphere. That was super memorable. It was a bad match. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to get a sparkling water. My fiery hot takes have left me a little parched.
Good, because I want to talk about what I'm drinking, which I got to get you a fridge of.
Yes, please.
Papa's Alternative Brew. I got too many of these. My boy Nick West sent me crates. I got to send some to your place, Pete. I got to send some to Mike's place. My house right now is looking like a college dorm. I got 3 kids eating Jell-O out of the fridge, and I've just got too many Papa's Alternative Brews to refrigerate. So I'm going to send some over to your way, send some to Mike. papasaltbrew.com. So 7.5 to 10 milligrams of THC. All the buzz without the booze, the relax without the tax. Real hops, only 60 calories. Feels like you're drinking brew. I'm going to ask for another one. I might do a Stone Cold. I might ask one of my kids to throw me the beer and catch it. Do one of those.
Oh, God. I am so at ease. Not just because we have Papa Son as a sponsor, thank you to them, but because we're going to have a good team next year. I know that schedule has some, like, historically some tricky spots, right? Some spots that we may be nervous about, spooky ACC Fridays and whatnot, but you got to believe what you have seen where Miami has been. You got to believe that this thing keeps building. Mario did the hard part. It didn't seem like we had any answers. How many times is he going to pull a rabbit out of his hat? This is crazy.
You know what though? It's kind of like when you see the drop, like you're peering out of a helicopter or something. You see what it looks like down there, and then you come back. You have a new appreciation for life, how fragile it is. I mean, we're talking about. Can you imagine if we were talking about a quarterback battle with no Mensa after going to the championship? We'd feel worse than SMU.
Something tells me that you would have been a good soldier, and we would have. I saw your Luke Nickel breakdowns last year.
Listen, they still stand. This QB2 battle is going to be electric. Electric. You're talking about two guys. Here's the QB2 battle. This is the most exciting part.
Three guys. What are you talking about? Three guys.
Three. So you got Judd, who size, all the tools, athlete, been here in the system. Is he going to turn on the gas and really take that second quarterback job and become the quarterback you think he could be? Or maybe it's not meant to be. He's better off as a tight end, which I think he could be a lethal tight end with the way he runs.
That's been the new one. D called me the other day, Mike, like random phone call. Like we were just having a conversation in the middle of the day. And one of the things he said is, I've been thinking a lot about Judd as a tight end, man. Like legitimately just in the middle of the day, like a Wednesday afternoon, like this, like I don't know what it was.
Let him cook.
And it was great. I was like, what, have you actually heard that? He's like, no, I just think it could make a lot of sense. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm down for it.
Why do you think he can do it? I know he's big. And look, that is historically a position where former quarterbacks do excel, dating back to Jay Reamersma. You remember the great Jay Reamersma?
Oh, yeah.
Buck Ortega, man.
Travis Kelce.
This is a guy in basketball, a double-double machine, but a lot of times in basketball, the quarterback is the distributor, right? Cam Ward, Joe Burrow. All these guys, they pass the ball. They're passers. They're quarterbacks. This guy was catch, finish. That's tight end. Tight ends don't distribute. Tight ends catch, finish. And that's what he did in basketball. So I see some transition there. He caught a pass in high school. It was one of those like running back to the quarterback deals. And he went up over somebody, caught the ball, touchdown. I'm trying to find the clip. It was exciting to say the least.
Really?
I was watching that clip. Remember that when I've used this example a million times, when the aliens start coming alive on Independence Day and the scientist is real jacked up in Area 51. Remember that?
Yeah. Are you talking about the tentacle scene?
Yeah, the tentacle. When he's like, exciting, and Bill Pullman gets after him for saying it's exciting. That's how I felt watching Judd play tight end for that one play, catch the ball. Unbelievable athleticism. And he loves being a Cane. He's got size. He's fast.
Question.
Why not?
How's his blocking against a PR safe?
Man,
Too soon?
I feel bad for Bauman. Although he's making my Lofton takes look better because now everybody's hyping up Lofton.
We missed him. We missed him. But would he have been out there on that pump block unit? I don't think so. Right?
You can bulk up a little. He's big, man. You see this guy.
I'm saying Lofton. Lofton wouldn't have been on that unit, right?
Yeah, he does play some special teams.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have done that
as a gadget guy, but like if he wasn't hurt, would he have been out there in Bauman's spot? I don't know enough about our special teams.
What could have been? Owen Ruskovich. It was a mistake, man. It could happen to anybody. Bauman blocked real good on that Mark Fletcher touchdown run. No one ever talks about that. Watch that touchdown run.
No one ever
87.
Is going to talk about that. No one ever is going to talk about that. Bauman has one play in his Miami history, and it's a shame because he came up big on that drive too. It could have been a national.
I was going to say he had a 15. He had a big catch on that 3rd and 15 or whatever it was.
Mark my words, you will forget about that catch 2 months down the line, and there will be one word that comes to mind when Bauman's name is invoked, and it's going to be block.
Mark Fletcher block, and it's going to be a post on CanesInSight, one of the 7.9 million posts and counting. And it's going to be probably in like, let's say June when stuff's a little quiet. I might just say, revisiting Alex Bauman with some ellipsis, and I'll have some good plays that he made just to kind of clean up the narrative. Because I don't like it. The guy played hard, man. It's not like the guy was lazy. He made a mental mistake on the block. The guy was not a lazy player. He blocked hard the whole game against guys that were better.
No. But Miami lost by 6 points, and they got a pump block.
QB2 battle. If Judd doesn't make it, tight end, but he could make it, and then you got a stud back up. Or you got really two guys in Darion and Luke Nickel who are kind of like Mensa. They kind of play alike, similar size, similar style, like to get rid of the ball, make quick decisions, take daring throws, and throw with anticipation. I like all three of those guys. You could play the same system really for all three of them. They play the same kind of way. We've got a ton of receivers that are going to make it easy for these guys to basically, just be the distributor, deliver the mail, and make quick decisions, throw accurate. Because between Tony, Cooper Barcate, Vandrevius Jacobs going deep, Cam Vaughn going outside his frame, Josh Moore going outside his frame, Upshaw is one of my favorites. I think he's going to make a run. And then all the freshmen, it's going to be fun for these guys. And the second team battle is going to be extremely fun.
What do you anticipate when it comes to jersey numbers? Because
I looked hot topic on our show this morning. That's what everyone was wanting to know too. We
my daughter in the
comments about it.
I looked my daughter in the eye after I bought her a Malachi Tony jersey, and I said, "You don't have to worry about this guy going anywhere." I didn't anticipate bringing in a guy that's wore number 10 at his two previous spots and is the ACC's leading passer, potentially wanting that number. So what do we think? I know that we have like this weird number 1 jersey thing. I know Cam helped make it a thing. Whatever Cam made it, JoJo unmade it.
Well, I don't know.
So is the number 1 jersey still a thing?
Well, it's not even just that. I think Malachi wore it in high school, Mike. And then the other part of it, which I told D, is like he'll make more money if he changes numbers because everyone's gonna have to buy the number 1, and he's getting a cut of the jersey. So my advice would be change your number, young man. But listen, I would think that they already have some sort of agreement figured out there.
It means I just got to buy another jersey.
You got to buy Barcade anyways.
But you're going to do it, right? You're going to do it if he changes numbers.
Of course. Those are NIL agreements. Those go to the player. The player gets a
right. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's a wonderful choice to change your jersey. And by the way, they're changing the design of the jersey every year anyway. So some people would have bought a new number 10, but that number 1 is going to be must buy.
Yeah. Multiple primetime games on Fridays and one Thursday. This offers up plenty of opportunity for Mario Cristobal to eschew Adidas's creative ideas and just go orange over white. So I cannot wait for that. I happen to know, as someone that is close to around the program and also was at an Adidas event. Look, we've all seen those images of things that they've tried at practice. I'm sure they've circulated on CanesInSight boards. 7.5 million posts and counting.
7.9, I believe.
7.9. All right. So rapidly approaching 8 million posts. Like the plan is for Miami to have a more diverse uniform set next year with some great surprises in there that honor this great program's heritage. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. We played an entire season where we never donned our green jerseys. That was crazy. That was wild. I know the reason for it. They weren't ready in time. But, I do think that this is a big program now for Adidas. Every bet that Adidas made on Miami has paid off. And every bet mutually that Miami made on Adidas, I think, has paid off. Adidas as a brand, through what they've done on soccer pitches and what they've done in footwear, and they've become the cool brand. They've usurped Nike. I know there's a lot of Nike old head legacy. Miami's a Nike school, but when you consider what they do on NIL,
Nike basketball still laps Adidas basketball. I'll say that.
I get that,
that's not
but
what people care
on
about.
the balance of things, Adidas as a brand has been elevated since they linked up with Miami. It's been a good partnership, and I do think I would look out for Adidas taking more chances with Miami. There was all sorts of talk when this partnership first started that Miami would essentially become Adidas's Oregon. We haven't necessarily seen that play out. I do think next year there's a couple of
we weren't really doing much to be in position to get special things, I would say.
No doubt. No doubt.
Some of that travel gear was really fresh.
It's all coming up roses, I think, for both brands. And
Mike, what do you think about Mensa's $1,600 sweater?
I gave Peter Ruiz credit today on the Dan Lebatard show.
You?
Yeah, that was incredible reporting. How much was Cooper Barcade's shirt with the Arabic writing?
I couldn't figure that one out. I just all I saw was that image, but I couldn't find the shirt. So I don't know. I need to do some more snooping around on that one.
I gotta say, in the history of Miami sports, every time and the internet, every time we get a white player and a black player, this meme is made. I honestly think this time is the best use of this meme ever, which is Mensah and Barcade, the Miami Vice. They kind of look like these guys. Yeah. This is the first time this meme actually, to me, works. They look like these dudes. What do you think?
I don't know what these guys look like.
Oh, you never, Mike, you're a Miami Vice connoisseur, Jan Hammer. What do you think here?
I am. Is that Cooper Barcade? I kind of have facial blindness when it comes to the white.
Yeah, there's Barcade and Mensah. I think it looks pretty good.
It does. It does.
So, anyways,
have you seen the rumors of the new cast? Austin Butler and Michael B. Jordan as Crockett and Tubbs.
Who?
Michael Jordan, the shooting guard.
B. Jordan.
So, Pete, I have a question for you. You're in Mike. So, me and Pete are in the trenches every day here, and Pete, bagging up, one of our favorite chat contributors. If he's going to make a comment about any topic, what do you think is coming out of his mouth 9 out of 10 times?
Lack of speed, playmakers on the outside.
So he posts a story here. We were talking about the receiving core. He goes, true story. I just saw Dalen Upshaw at the airport in Atlanta. The B concourse train chopped it up with him. Told him we needed his speed in the wide receiver core. He's on his way back to good health. Backing up. When you talk to your wife about this, like, do you have any other topics that interest you?
That's like when Canes Cats Heat goes into the baseball scrimmages and starts yelling at the players, man.
We're gonna see that today. There's practice at 6:20. Once this thing's done, I'm riding over there. Canes Cat Heat 305. It's like 4 people there. There's like a couple scouts, maybe a couple players' parents, and then Canes Cat Heat 305. And he's out there yelling at these kids like it's little league. Like, gotta get that. Hustle, baby, hustle. 2 strikes, choke up. These guys are like, world-class players. This guy's out here screaming.
Listen, he's saying there's really good value on Miami to make the World Series right now. So,
look, get a nice little men's hoops run. Ladies can make the tournament too. Let's go to
How's the ladies team looking? I saw they had a big win against SMU the other day.
Comeback win.
Yeah.
How are they looking right now, Mike? What are they standing?
I think they're a scrappy team. I think they can be a tournament team. Katie Meyer night coming up real quick.
Hopefully it's better than the Larinaga night was for
yeah, hope so. Was hoping to be there, but I just got staffed on some big 3 hoops ring ceremony that's happening in Coconut Grove tomorrow. Come out and see Mario Chalmers get his ring. And Lance
guys, I've been seeing this a lot of Markel Bell comments. Johnny says he was getting cooked in the Shrine Bowl. He's actually the Senior Bowl, different bowls. But let me tell you, I wish I could play the clip. D, I'm going to send you guys the video.
I have it.
He slipped.
No. The Markel Bell one, I know. I say this to say, that was from what I understand, that was like his first rep out there. I just sent you guys the clip. It's from NFL Network. My guy Titus Howard had a rep against his first rep against Montez Sweat. He got put on his butt. Okay, and you respond, and from everything I hear, Markel Bell responded very well out there the rest of the day. 1 rep is not going to make or break you in this process, right? So it happened. Literally, what I just sent you guys, this is the Markel Bell one. Yeah, I sent you guys in the private comments, private chat, the same thing. But when I tell you he got put on his butt by Montez Sweat, and guess what? He got another opportunity against him, and he locked him down. And then they want to see how you respond at these events. Right. So he'll be fine, man. I know people wanted him back. That waiver got denied. So he didn't even have an opportunity to come back. I guess he could have fought it. But when you're at this point of it, if they deny it, then he can't be here in front of the scouts. So I think we gotta Canes fans, man, let's be thankful of the couple seasons this guy gave us. He had a great run here in the playoffs, and hope for the best for moving forward. He didn't have the option to play another year, so
yeah, a lot of money in that rep. Marquez Sweat and
Montez
Howard.
You saw that. You saw what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
Same sort of thing got put on his butt. Like first rep of the Senior Bowl. Listen, it's an adjustment. By the way, these pass rushers are always in the advantage of these D. We see this at the high school level. That's it. It's not a realistic situation for an offensive lineman. Like it's just not. When you know it's a pass rushing situation, these guys can get after it. It's different.
Yeah, and Markel Bell coming off the championship run. I mean, he went straight to this. He's had a long playoff, right? He goes from playing Ohio State and all these guys to playing the best of the best one after another. So his competition level the past 2 months has been unreal. Markel Bell, great cane. Honestly, one of the better left tackle seasons I can remember. I mean, how many times did Beck get hit from the blind side all year? The whole season's done now. I mean, how many times did Beck get hit from the left side? So unless it was some sort of blitz or stunt that someone missed inside, I can't remember him getting hit from that side at all.
A lot of top 10 pass rushes that Miami had to go through to make it to where they made it there. I think naturally it's fair to anticipate a drop off at the tackle position. I know you're a big Jackson Cantwell believer. Joe Thomas as his mentor. We'd like to believe that he can be like CC and be ready to go from day one. I believe him to be that. But playing at the tackle position as a true freshman, that's usually reserved for someone special. I think he'll live up to that. What do you see at left tackle?
Maybe him. Who knows? I always thought right tackle, but P was the one telling me, and I think he's right, that left tackle is a possibility. You would think that that's not a position you play early, right? Offensive line. But when you go back and look at the star left tackles that are like 5-star guys, those guys do tend to play earlier at either left or right tackle just because they're so big and freakish that, like, as they're figuring it out, that kind of carries them a little bit. Now, the average 4-star tackle is not going to be playing, but it's those freaks of nature. Caden Proctor, for example, played pretty early, if I recall.
Fasusi last year, right, at Oklahoma.
David Sanders started this year. There's another one that started this year. Another 5-star tackles.
Oh, and here's another reason I would say 2D, right? McCoy is very smart. McCoy is really, really smart. And I think McCoy, both him and Sampson played left guard, but I think you have McCoy at left guard next to Cantwell. That would help the freshman there. You have Sampson right guard, and then maybe a Jamal Merriweather at right tackle. I'm telling you, I think people are looking at Merriweather and saying, man, he didn't really play much at Georgia, but that's a big body with some movement ability. So
the name I was looking for, by the way, was Carroll from Alabama, Michael Carroll, who Miami recruited, another 5-star player. So, like, if you look, I mean, how many guys? Let me just see. Sorry, this is great podcasting, Mike. We're just looking up recruiting rankings while we're talking here.
I asked the question. I'm in on it.
But I'm pretty sure. So let's look at the player rankings for the top offensive linemen last year in 2025, because I'm pretty sure all these guys played a pretty good amount. So they're certainly getting paid like that. We all know the money for Cantwell is pretty high. But yeah, Fasusi was a 5-star. He started this year. David Sanders started. Juan Gaston started at least a couple games. Babaloa, I think, got hurt. But all these guys pretty much played and started. Will Carroll at offensive line. Michael Carroll at offensive line. So pretty high hit rate on these 5-star players, not only to become great players and first, second round picks down the road, but to be very impactful early. So you talk about distribution of money. Do you want to distribute it to a really expensive high school quarterback who's not going to play and probably is going to bust or transfer? Or do you want to spend it on this freak of nature offensive tackle who, if this guy's good at Michigan or Alabama or Oklahoma, you're not going to go and tamper with him and get him because they're just going to be too expensive. Those guys are not typically available in the transfer portal.
Well, yeah. We just saw it play out with Jordan Seaton.
Yeah, and look what a nightmare that was. People were acting like he was normal while the guy was on Instagram acting like an idiot. Like, they tolerated a lot because of the rare nature of that position.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our nonsense. Oh, one last question. Did you guys see Ruben Bain's interview with CBS 4 where he suggested
that was Mike Cugno, right? Who did that one? Shout out to Mike, a great Columbus man right there.
Yeah, he did a good job with that. And for those that don't know, Ruben Bain told Mike that he anticipates the D-line not only keeps it moving, but builds on what they did last year and could even be better than they were last year. I don't think we've had. I think Phillips and Rousseau played on the same team, right?
No, different. They missed each other, which
They just missed each other.
Phillips was like
Yeah.
redshirting, getting his body back right that year.
Right. So
then Rousseau sat out for COVID.
So that's the best edge rushing tandem that the University of Miami has ever seen. Simultaneously,
We had 2 first rounders with Kennard Lang and Kenny Holmes back in the mid '90s, but
these guys were better.
These guys were probably more impactful in college.
Yeah,
they dominated the playoffs.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty tough juice to replace, but Ruben Bain would know, right?
Yeah, I think his other answer might have been, yeah, no, these guys are not going to replace me and Messidor. They stink. We missed our opportunity here. I'm off to the pros. I'll see you guys later. He might have said that too.
He could have said that. I don't know. We asked Brian McKinney, is there anybody on Miami's defense right now that you think could have gotten a sack? Because Brian McKinney famously never allowed a sack in a game or at practice. And he wanted to say Ruben Bain, but instead he kicked Ruben Bain to defensive tackle to avoid the question whatsoever. I'm like, I know he's versatile, and we've done some of that where we get him inside and stunt him a little bit. But Brian, I think you got him out of position there just so you don't have to answer the question.
Well, you know what? Here it is. So let's start with music, Pete. I want to start with music, our song of the week, because it actually transitions nice. Alf saying that look that Bain would get in his eyes while talking about an upcoming game is irreplaceable. So I interviewed Ruben Bain for Storm Sessions. That should be coming out any day now. I'll definitely tweet it out and put it on CanesInSight.com when it happens. But I asked him, I said, listen, what's your pregame song? You're ready to rip people's heads off. What's your pregame song that gets you so hyped? Adele, Hometown Glory. The first song she ever wrote. This is like a teenage girl Adele. This is not even fully grown woman, peak of her powers Adele. This is like 16-year-old girl in England Adele writing a song that would later be used to destroy every tackle in the college football playoff violently by Ruben Bain. So great song. Hometown Glory makes me think of Ruben Bain doing it in Miami kid, finishing his career in Miami, having such a great career for the University of Miami. So it all fits. But yeah, he's not listening to, just very hardcore rap or anything too aggressive. We're talking about smooth, passionate soul from a 19-year-old when she sang it, 16 when she wrote it, Adele. How about that?
That album was called 19. I saw that video, lead single off of her debut album. Immediately wondered who this was. Saw her on Later with Jules Holland. For those that are unfamiliar with that show, it's an elite show out of the UK that just has basically 6 musical guests every show in one huge sound stage, and they all take turns playing interesting pump up music. But I would have taken Ruben Bain for more of a Drops of Jupiter guy.
Can we stop for a second? Pete, take the graphic off. Oh, I gotta talk to you. I gotta talk to Pete. Pete, I know you were zoned out for the last 2 minutes. Did you see what Mike just did there?
Did I see what he did?
Or hear what he did? You observe what he just did.
What?
This guy is such a hipster that he was talking about how he was first to find out about Adele.
That was
the most mainstream popular artist.
The only Adele
world.
I know is Aiken. Aiken Adele, great special teamer in his time.
Different spelling.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I know AOY or AYODELE. Yeah.
How are you pulling that card with Adele? She's the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah, but you have to understand when 19 came out, this was the real apex of Hype Machine and streaming music on indie music blogs and Pitchfork and all that stuff. So it was a point of pride around 2009, 2010 to be first on these folks. Hype Machine would make sure of it. Pitchfork, you'd Consequence of Sound. You'd be, what's next? I gotta impress my hipster friends at the Vagabond. That's what that era was all about. So yeah, I was first on Adele. Now I'm shocked Adele grew to the heights that she did because not a classic diva by any stretch of the imagination. But
let's say she was fat.
Special. That a unique talent, to say the least.
So a couple things, Pete, does Mike remind you right now of that LeBron James meme? Like if LeBron James drank craft beer and hung out at Las Rosas and had ironic mustaches, do you think that LeBron James would pull that kind of anecdote about how he was? Hey, I was up on Adele before anybody even knew she was coming out of England.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
You
Yeah.
watch Later with
I had her
Jules
first
Holland?
kiss. I had her all her hits.
You didn't watch Later with Jules Holland?
that was when you really took it to another level.
It's a great
Jules
show.
Holland. Later with Jules Holland. Come on.
Later with Jules Holland. You discovered a lot of music. The UK was often years ahead of the
You
US.
had the box of UK. Like, what were you watching in Kendall? You had the box, the UK box.
The Smithsonian
Box UK?
Channel. The Smithsonian Channel had the licensing rights to re-air Later with Jules Holland. YouTube was a thing.
You're watching the Smithsonian Channel?
Yeah, to
the
find
next superstar of the world.
you got no idea what it was like in these competitive blogosphere streets when you
Dude,
were
I'm pretty sure
nodding along like, yeah, no, I'm up on GMT. Like, you
pretty
gotta
sure
be-
Aiken Adele had a brother who played in the league too.
I think,
The
I
Adele
think you're
brothers.
right.
Yeah.
So speaking of wanting to impress your friends at the Vagabond, I have an Argentinian electronic act that I want to hit you guys up on. So I actually found this band not through a blog because they all kind of died. I found this on an IG reel because these guys are playing arenas in South America and it's an insane stage setup. It's crazy. Like if you're tripping, I imagine it's just rocking your world. The band's name is Peces Raros, and the song that I picked is a song that I saw on this IG reel. D-Money, I'm going to text it to you. This looks bonkers. They basically have a huge widescreen as a stage, and they cut out a little rectangle in the middle in which like the band plays in, but the entire stage is just this one big screen. And so you're just watching this light show, and it was like a gnarly IG reel. And I wanted to discover what this band was because I like electronic music. I think electronic duos are the best types of electronic bands. Dating back to, I know Depeche Mode was really a three-piece, but it was all about Dave and Martin. Let's be real. Those were the genius behind the band. Shout out to MGMT duo as well. I think this band has some juice. I really do. And if they're going to take that stage show all the way up to North America, they're going to have to get more popular. So I'm doing my part. Check out this song, Oxido by Peces Raros.
I was trying to find what you were talking about with the stage, and all I'm finding is rare fish. So, this is rare fish in Spanish. So look at this fish right here.
Wow. That is
Look at that fish. That
Yeah.
thing is rare, fellas.
Yeah, that fish often comes up in memes whenever Mitch McConnell falls.
What are these fish, Pete? Have you ever seen these fish in your life? Lionfish, we got this one in Miami.
They don't have those in Lake Catalina.
Look at this guy. What is going on here? Some rare fish indeed in the sea. Oh, and there we go. They're your boys right here in between this puffer fish and whatever this thing is. This Pokemon right here. Oh, man. All right.
I'll show you a video of this. It's pretty wild, but yeah.
I don't want to get a copyright here from National Geographic. Those guys are probably nasty. All right, Pete. So wrestler of the week. I'm going to start here. This is trying to wish it into existence. Oh, man. You had to use some recent photos of Jericho with the abs looking like one of those sausages with the strings. That's bad. That's bad decision right there. Not go with the vest. But Chris Jericho, Y2J, we've had him as the wrestler before. One of the greatest ever. He needs to return at the Royal Rumble on Saturday in Saudi Arabia. I hope to have been there live. I asked my wife. She said no. My kids said they heard women couldn't drive in Saudi Arabia. I said that's just what Nana tells you. It's not true. In fact, they can drive. But nonetheless, that family trip never came together. So we're watching on TV. But I need to hear that countdown, man. I know you want to hear Judas, but we got to hear the countdown.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see because he is on his way back to WWE. I do hope that it's at Saudi Arabia's Royal Rumble. Probably, I'm sure those people will have an insane pop for him too, no doubt. I'm excited for the farewell tour too. I think Jericho in AEW, who did some incredible work over in AEW, reshaped his character once again, and was a part of some pretty special feuds over there. I do think that there was some Jericho fatigue, and I think he understood that, and he's gone away for the right amount of time. And I'm going to pop for his return to WWE. As big of a fan as I was of his AEW work, I do think that his final run should be in WWE with their production. He's just such a quintessential WWE superstar. He does a lot of the stuff they do well. So I'm pumped up about this. I'm pumped up for him crossing paths with Kevin Owens again, potentially. I think that was really one of the great 20 teens, early 2020 angles that WWE ever had. The Festival of Friendship was iconic. So I hope that he and Kevin Owens cross paths again, and I'm pumped for this. No doubt.
Inspiration for your quarterback list as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I am curious to see how he comes back. Now, there were all sorts of trademark rumors out there on the internet. I kind of want to see Y2J come back and not Judas Effect Jericho come to WWE. Maybe he's got something new. He's famously repackaged his character a little bit, but I want to feel the nostalgia of Y2J coming back. And the list was so over. There's still so much more meat on that bone, so much more money to be made now, especially under TKO's umbrella, that maybe we see him do kind of like a Faces of Foley type of deal, and we see all the different incarnations in this final year. But one thing I got to admit, D, there has been such a fall off. They botched that John Cena thing so bad that they really burned up all the goodwill that they got from WrestleMania 40, and it's been in a nosedive. This can bring me back. Jericho's final run has me intrigued. I hope they don't ruin it.
I'm just saying, and I've been saying this, and I think the timeline has borne it to be true. Everybody kept saying Bloodline champion thing. It's gone on too long. It's getting stale. It's done. Maybe it's true. It went as long as it could go. But once that thing ended, everything ended and went downhill. So
yeah.
And it was going only up. People said, oh, I've seen this ending 5,000 times. Boom. Bigger show the next time. Bigger show the next time. Hotter crowd the next time. I'm just saying we've had some time to take a step back and see it.
Yeah.
Maybe it couldn't have gone any further than it did, but that definitely was the peak. I also miss Samantha Urban. She was great.
I'd agree generally that history is going to look at this dip and it'll reflect on, well, that's what happens when you take the strap off of Roman. But remember how hot that Cena heel turn was. That was a huge moment in time, and it felt like they had the juice back. We were going to get The Rock and Travis Scott, and it just fizzled out. And I think they could have kept a lot of momentum going. And that is a huge line of demarcation. Them blowing that whole WrestleMania thing and doing nothing with the heel turn, it was so bad, dude, that I don't know if they're really ever going to be able to climb back to the heights of WrestleMania 40. It's tough for this business. It's tough for this thing to be cool. And you had something cool with the Cena heel turn. And they don't have a lot of my trust anymore. They
20 years. It's like the Canes. It takes 20 years. You win a couple championships or, reinvent things and get up out of there.
Yeah, hopefully Mario does more with a WrestleMania 40 momentum.
I think Mario's a little more disciplined than old Vince. Vince was disciplined in certain ways.
Yeah.
Mario hits the gym too. Not quite at 4 a.m., but
also keep in mind where we are in the Miami Hurricanes story arc. WrestleMania 39 is right. Where we're at. We're Cuban American Cody Rhodes. We're Cody Rhodes in the ring, wondering what all my hard work. It was so hard to get to this point. I was supposed to finish my story this year, and Roman Reigns is in the background thanks to Solo Sikoa raising his arms in victory. That's where we are. But you remember what happened in WrestleMania 40?
Do we find the slogan for the season?
Finish the story.
How about that? Wow.
Yeah. My wrestler of the week is AJ Styles. I believe I've done him before. Former tag team partner and WrestleMania foe of Chris Jericho. Guys, I think this might be AJ Styles' last match in WWE. I don't see them undoing this career killer gimmick that Gunther has. You can't have Gunther beat John Cena, tap him out, and then lose to an undersized AJ Styles. I genuinely believe this is the last time we're going to see AJ. And that makes me really sad. think it's going to be the last time we see AJ in WWE because they have that relationship with TNA, and it might be right for AJ Styles. The same way that it's right for Chris Jericho to end his career in WWE, maybe the reason why we're ending AJ Styles' career at Royal Rumble as opposed to a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam is because they got something in the works over at TNA. And I'd like to see that, sure. But I can't believe that we're here. D-Money, this has been a AJ Styles retirement tour all along under our nose. He's had the dream matches. He had one with Punk. He had one with Nakamura. He had one with Cena. This has been a final run, and it's been under the radar. And they kind of like baked in this Gunther thing right after Cena. And I'm like, all right, whatever. That Gunther will be the one to take him out, but that will be down the line. And all of a sudden, AJ Styles is putting his career on the line. AJ Styles has been in WWE for 10 years. You remember that pop that he had at the Royal Rumble in 2016? Unbelievable. Vince McMahon probably realized there, damn it, I should have brought this kid in 10 years ago. So much money to be made. AJ Styles hit the ground running. He was unbelievable. Put up 5-star match after 5-star match. Had a great match with Roman Reigns. Had great matches with John Cena. I'm telling you, great matches with John Cena. And I wish that we would have had him in WWE a little bit longer. 10 years flew by. The face that runs the place. Great match after great match. In-ring performer that extraordinaire. A guy that reminds me a lot of Shawn Michaels in his ability to sell and what he does in the ring and how he can be a believable heavyweight despite not having like the physical attributes of other fellow heavyweights. Can make anybody look good in the ring. This is a guy that The Undertaker trusted with his final match, and he delivered.
Good punches. Good, lost art, the good punches. He has good punches.
Incredible punches. The Pele kick. Who can forget? AJ Styles, if this is indeed your last WWE match, I am going to be bummed because AJ Styles is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I hope it's not the last that we see of him. I'm probably trying to manifest that TNA thing because I'm not quite ready to say goodbye. Maybe it's because I've been at war for 3 months. I didn't know we were doing this. I don't want to say goodbye to AJ.
And also maybe
the styler. The styler and profiler.
There you go. He's learning a little bit. He's not on the right wrestler, but he's getting closer.
My dad used to always use that phrase. So
that's Ric Flair. It's the nature boy, styling and profiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, great point. Great match with The Undertaker, the graveyard match or boneyard match. Maybe Japan for AJ. Maybe he goes to Japan and TNA and just kind of goes out that way. So we'll see, man. How are we going out today? You look like you're feeling better. You look like you got it back.
When this show ends, I'm going to go back to my cave of solitude and try to lay down with my dog.
Is that why you're not going to the Canes game?
No, I'm not going to the Canes. Well, maybe in part that's a contributing factor, but a 9 p.m. tip. Like, let's get out of here. I'm 40. What are we doing?
Oh, so it's not like you have a commitment. You don't have like a dinner.
I'm going to be home. What are we doing with a 9 p.m. tip?
Well, you got an early show too tomorrow, right? What time you got to wake up?
Yeah, I wake up pretty early. I wake up around 6.
Bro.
What happened?
What happened, Pete?
The Benfica keeper just scored for them to advance. Mourinho they just won 4-2, and they needed the goal to go from 25th to 24th.
The Benfica keeper scored it? The keeper.
Yes, the keeper.
What, on a header?
On a header. Last kick of the game.
Oh, Benfica. Where's Benfica?
Lisbon.
Portugal.
Yeah.
Let's go. Shout out Benfica.
Gosh. This is crazy. You got to see that, Mike. You're gonna crack up.
That's incredible.
Go from 20. They go through with that now, I think.
Well, let me just say, even though I missed an all-time moment that might have rekindled my passion for the world's beautiful game, I'm happy that I spent this time with you.
Thank you, Mike. Me too.
I was talking to Peter.
Pete doesn't feel that way. I feel that way.
Wow.
Pete's wishing he was watching that Benfica.
Peter was watching it. There was nobody happier to watch us go to wrestling and music talk than Peter Ruiz because it meant he can completely check out and have the lower third graphic cover his face.
Newcastle drew with PSG, man, and they missed a sitter at the end. Harvey Barnes.
Chelsea are through.
Are you in any soccer chats with Pete? Is he sending text during the game? During the show?
I'm not in any, dude. I'm not in any of the chats, man.
No, yeah, you are. You're in the Saudi
chat.
Side
chats.
Saudi chat and AFCON chat. Yeah.
And you're also you're not in the South American chat?
Oh, yes, I am.
College basketball chat, which I'm not invited to.
Oh, you're invited to. I actually invited you when we started the chat, and you said you didn't know if you were enough of a college basketball guy. But let me tell you something. Stock up on college basketball. It's a great college basketball is a great sport these days, man. It's you can turn it on any night of the week and you get some good games.
Look, D Money, you're going to that Stanford game by yourself, so you deserve to be in the Onions chat.
You left Provost know what's going down in the Saudi chat, beheadings. You know, I might just pop in there and talk some wrestling, given that we got the show this weekend.
Incredible Saudi ingenuity.
The Riyadh Rumble, right?
In 3 weeks. 20 days, they built a stadium. It's wild. I'm sure all the labor was on the up and up.
It shows you human potential, man. You can make a Royal Rumble happen in the middle of the desert in 3 weeks. And what can't we do? We can do that. Inspirational, really.
WrestleMania 9 did it first.
That's true. That's true. No further comment on that WrestleMania. Although I loved it as a kid. In retrospect, they say it's bad. Caesar's Palace. Is that still around, Caesar's Palace? Are we going to be there for the championship this year?
Palace is still around.
Caesar's Palace for the championship. And then we'll do one other one for the Utah. Utah's in Vegas, right? 27 opener?
Yeah. There's a possibility that the Miami Hurricanes end up playing back-to-back games in Allegiant Stadium.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe to the show. What else, Pete? You got anything? You got some meat to sell? Your Lamelos to spam is getting pretty popular. You should ask Lamelos to borrow their logo so you can print
what Deep Money said there is important. Liking and subscribing. It is quantifiable that most people that consume YouTube content on the daily either are under the impression that they already like and subscribe or just flatly don't do it. Guys, this is our currency. This is how we grow. Please help us. It costs you nothing, literally nothing.
We're almost at 15K. Yeah,
it benefits you. So. It benefits you because when we go live, you get convenient alerts and you can either dismiss them or be like, I can do that right now. I would love to hear Peter Ariz and D Money hit the ground running and talk about Darian Mensah's commitment immediately. You guys are incredible about on-the-spot reaction when the news breaks. So please, if you guys want to have those updates on your phone, like and subscribe.
What a pro. Holy moly. If we did that every day, man, we'd be rich. We'd be retired. We'd be watching Benfica and a beach in Portugal.
You're putting an extra E on it. Benfica.
It's just Benfica.
How do you spell it?
B-E-N.
B-E-N.
Fica.
F-I-C-A?
F-I-C-A.
That's right.
Huh. All right.
One of the great badges in the sport, in my opinion.
Was it badge like a logo?
Yeah.
It's a crest. Yes, it is
crest,
like a logo.
I guess. Yeah.
Badge.
Yeah. Do it for the badge, man.
We don't need no sticking badges. Go Canes.
Go Canes.
Well, we're gonna get some promotional badges that are worth a lot of money on our uniforms next year. We'll see who it is, man.
We get some CanesInSight badges. Give me some Canes. Get a CanesInSight soccer jersey and just put only the sponsors on it.
We cannot
CanesInSight logo. Just put all sponsors.
We cannot afford that sponsor. We can't afford a jersey sponsorship without you liking and subscribing.
Yes.
So please,
I'm showing up with the OrchidMan and my number right here. Like and subscribe. Go Canes.
Go Canes.